Man, when I was a kid, I hated reading. And they had this torture device for us at school called summer reading. That's right. It wasn't enough that we went to school from September to June. They wanted to spend the months off reading a book to enrich our vocabulary. I thought it was bullshit back then. Now I love books, but I had a way around that stupid freaking summer reading program. I mean, really, who wants to spend the better part of the hottest time of the year where you could be at the beach, hanging with your friends, playing volleyball, learning to surf if you're not me? Or would you rather sit and read a book? Well, as a high school kid, I hated reading books. It was not my favorite thing. It was my least favorite thing. English class, not my worst subject, but one of the ones I dreaded going to the most. So how did I loophole the education system to get an A grade 4 years running and never read a single book over the summer? Well, that's an interesting story that goes back to my favorite band, Less Than Jake. So back before the clusterfuck of Common Core knowledge, we had summer reading. And like I said, Less Than Jake got me through a lot. Back in 1992, they put out an album called Hello Rockview. And the front cover featured a 1950s style cartoon, kind of like the Fallout posters actually. And he was diving into a pool, and if you opened up the book, it was all written in comic book format. So that really enticed me because I love comic books. So yeah, I read the lyrics to all of their songs. I actually learned the album front and back because it was probably one of my favorite albums growing up. Actually started my theory of all bands that have 3 words in their name tend to be things I like. Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, just bands that I loved. But I read this story and they mashed up all of the songs. It wasn't in chronological order for the album. It was in chronological order because all of these songs put in the right order tell a story. And it's no surprise, the story is about getting out of your hometown.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you're cool, and fuck you, I'm out.
Getting past what you grew up in and finding something better. So I wrote myself a report 4 years running on a book called Al's War, Track 14, by L.T. Jacobs, Less Than Jake. I told a story about how Al was tired of the crap in his hometown and just needed to move out. And he was trying to get past all of the people in his life that would tell him he'd never amount to anything, and he would, start his own life. It's been quite a while since I've written those, so I don't remember all of the details I gave the teachers, but each year I wrote an actual essay on Al's War by L.T. Jacobs. Told a fantastic story, enough to get an A every time. In fact, I watched my friend Brett fail class that summer. Fail the course, first assignment of the year, because he read American History X from front to back. But you weren't allowed to read things that already had movies made out of them. If you didn't know that in school, we don't allow you to read books that have movies made out of them, because then you're not going to read the book, you're going to watch the movie. And although the books have more, that stuff gets missed in book reports. Brett's did not do that. Brett's actually was very good. Very racist, but very good. And I think both because of the racist nature of the book and also because, again, it was a movie, that's why he failed. And I got an A because, well, they couldn't find Al's War by L.T. Jacobs because there was no Al's War by L.T. Jacobs. Let's fast forward to 4 years after that happened. Well, actually, let's fast forward through the 4 years that actually happened. Graduation day. 3 of my 4 English teachers are still working at the school, and I walk up to them after I received my diploma, and I hand them a burned CD. And each CD says the same thing. Al's War by L.T. Jacobs. With a note individually for each teacher, thanking them for allowing my work to be an A, even though the literary work behind it didn't exist. My one teacher, Mr. Kennedy, was a little impressed that I was able to come up with something like that, and for that, he was totally fine with me keeping my grade. My other teachers, not as amused, but also appreciated the amount of work that I put into creating a story out of a group of songs, 14 tracks, and I was able to tell a legitimate story that made them actually want to find the book. And now, after giving them the CDs, mind you, this was 2001, they were actually excited to go home and listen to the album because they knew that I felt enough about it that I lied about reading a book. So that's the story of how I beat the system. You can do it too. You just have to use your fucking brain.